What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Do Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifata Melafonum of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today, Lions Talk Live, Tuesday show edition. And as you could probably tell from the thumbnail for this one, the Lions might just have some good news of brewing. Yesterday, in between a few of the videos that we put out, we've got word and information that Detroit Lions have released Chris Smith. So as you guys don't, some of you know, some of you don't know, he's a defensive lineman, interior defensive eye tackle position, and he was released. So could that be evidence that DJ Reader is on his way back to playing on the field for the Detroit Lions? We'll dive into that here shortly after a few other things. So, hey, as you guys know, before we get into the main topic, we're going to get into 5 headlines now. We've got also this week's power rankings. The Do Crew endorsed power rankings are going to be revealed. And yes, spoiler alert, Detroit Lions might be the number 1 ranked team in the NFC North as of today. All right, let's not Scooby-Doo this. Let's get after it. So real quick, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making that march for 7,900 subs, and we are just 80-some, 90-some away from making that happen. So if you can help out, that'd be great. This week, we are doing a fundraiser for charity. It began the day before the Lions season opener, and will conclude after the conclusion of the Lions-Bucks game. So every new subscriber we get, we're donating $1 to charity. See what you can do to help us out. Also, if you can, go ahead and hit that like button, the thumbs up button. As you guys know, it helps the channel out exponentially. Before we get into the 5 headlines now, if you're looking for something to read, maybe you just like historical fiction, maybe you like Japanese culture, Asian culture, Chinese culture, or Native American culture, go ahead and go to Amazon.com or eBay, or you can go to whatever book online realtor that use, retailer that use, and go ahead and order Kajora book. And if you enjoy it, please leave us a good review. All right, with all those 4 things out of the way, the formalities, let's go ahead and get into our first segment of the show, and that is going to be, as you know, 5 headlines now. All right, 5 headlines now. Rams PFF grades, best and worst performers versus the Lions. And this is for the Rams versus Lions. USA Today story by Cameron Dalvia. So I'm probably murdering that name, and sorry, Cameron, for that. But let's go ahead and bring that up. And you know what? Just make it a little fun here. Let's even throw a little something on the screen just so you guys don't have to stare at me all day long. All right, as you can see, highest performers for the Detroit Lions. You got Aiden Hutchinson, 94. Monster performance for him. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that. Aiden Hutchinson was all over the place. I did have a couple knocks on him when I made grades after the game for his efforts in the run game. But, some of that, it's opening day. Not everything's going to go perfect. Dave Montgomery, not a big surprise there. Just behind, 86. Jameson Williams, 83. Graham Glasgow, 82. And Alex Anzalone, I would say this. I changed my grades a little bit on him once I started watching the replay of the film. And, you could tell he did pretty well. He did get picked on a little bit when they were in zone coverage, and he was responsible for picking up the motion guy. More often than not, as you guys know, that was Cooper Kupp. But in fairness to him, probably most linebackers are not going to do well against a future Hall of Famer wide receiver. So maybe I need to give him a little slack there. All right, let's dive a little further into this, though. And get into it. What did you guys think of the Detroit Lions and their efforts with the grades? Jared Goff did have a grade in the 40s, but to be also fair, so did Matt Stafford. He came in a little bit higher at 50-something. But what you're seeing across the league is that, just a lot of offenses. You could tell they were not in sync. You could tell a lot of the offenses just did not have their best efforts. And this is league-wide. Yes, some offenses did very well. Maybe that's the defenses they were playing against. That I'm not here to debate. But you could see that the impact of rust on a lot of different teams out there. All right, moving on from the pro. We're not going to do a full thing on the pro football focus, so we'll just move on to the next thing. Won't break down everybody, but there's at least your headlines for the Lions. All right, businesses taking advantage of the Detroit Lions' success. Quote, when the Lions win, the vibe is amazing. This is, end quote, CBS News by Jordan Burroughs. So CBS News does go ahead and hit the streets, get people on the floor, and talk to local businesses around Ford Field. We all know the tailgating aspects of things and how that brings in big money, real money to the Detroit Lions, to the surrounding community, just like the draft brought in millions of dollars to Michigan and Detroit. You know what? Victory equals success for a lot of supporting businesses and communities. And yes, the Lions are a big deal for those businesses. All right, Lions Epic Rally shows just how much this has changed with the franchise. Detroit Free Press, Mitch Ablam. So most of you guys know who this guy is. If not, I'd say you may not have read too many newspapers over the last few decades. But Motown Mitch, he's right. This franchise has changed exponentially, and anybody who's a Lions fan who's probably watched the franchise over at least the last 5 years understands where this franchise has come from and just how universally different it is nowadays. Mitch Ablam is dead right. This isn't your dad's. This isn't even your or my Detroit Lions. This is the brand new Lions. And the brand new Lions find ways to win. They don't find ways to lose, and we can all say what we want about opening day not being the greatest. Hey, we should have done this. We should have done that. But you know what we did do? We did win. And at the end of the day, you look around a lot of the league. There are a lot of teams that lost opening day. That, yes, they need to play better. Yes, this was wrong or this was wrong. But you know what the Lions didn't do? While they had all those issues, they still won, baby. And at the end of the day, they're 1-0, and half the league is not. All right, let's see how Dan Campbell decided to lean on David Montgomery in Detroit Lions Week 1 win versus the Rams. Detroit Free Press, Dave Burkett penned this one, and he's right. Motown Dan, whatever you call him, Gambling Man Dan, MC DC, just DC. He's matured as a coach, and you can see it in a lot of his play calling. If you go back in the time machine and check out like his first year here, you could just see the amount of excitement and nervousness, not just on DC, but you could see it with the offense. You could see it with Aaron Glenn, because Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator then, and how much every year they've been here, they've gotten a little bit more seasoning, a little more assertiveness, don't seem to hesitate as much when having to make key choices. Let's not overthink this. The Lions in overtime said, we are going to impose our will on the Rams. We understand who we are. The offensive line, you heard me talk about it during the game. You heard me talk about it yesterday when I gave out some grades and etc. You can see there's just a lot of communication issues there, especially in pass protection. You want to know why the passing game wasn't more effective? The Rams knew to test out the Detroit Lions offensive line. They knew they hadn't practiced together. And again, not to beat a dead horse, you could see where all the issues were in communications, picking up stunts, pulls, and blitzes, especially delayed blitzes. That will change on a week-to-week basis as these guys get more familiar with things. But to Dan Campbell's credit, as the story points out, he knew one thing this imposing offensive line could do to the Rams. They could drive forward. They could impose their will in the run game. And you know what? David Montgomery, he did just that. As we all know, the Lions threw one pass in the overtime. And other than that, they're just going to say, follow the line, let David Montgomery hit a hole, and let's go put this thing in the books as a win. And that's what they did. All right, debating what we learned about Detroit Lions after gritty overtime win over ailing Rams. The Detroit Free Press, Jeff Seidel and Sean Windsor both penned this one, and you can check it out. There's a lot of good things that the Lions did. There's a lot of things, yes, we all get it. They're going to have to do better in time. All right, with all that out of the way, let's get to the next segment of the show, and that's when we're going to get into our power ranking. So let's get into it. All right, this is going to be the Do Crew Power Rankings. I guess I need to come up with just a lead-in for it, a better video than that. So, you know what? Hey, things to work on this week. But we're going to go with the Do Crew Power Rankings, and that's number 32, down one from last week. We're going to go with the Carolina Panthers. Hey, they got killed. I get it. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with this franchise. And this franchise, let's be honest, we used to say the Lions were the worst franchise in the NFL. It's probably the Carolina Panthers at this point. All right, down also one spot, the New York Football Giants. Not a lot of talent here, not a lot of good news with some injuries. They're now number 31. Denver Broncos have dropped from 26 to number 30. Washington Commanders have moved down one from 28 to 29, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these. I'm just going to read them out. Las Vegas Raiders down from 25 to 28. Tennessee Titans from 29 to 27. The New England Football Patriots, hey, they're up here, and that was a big win for them. Make no mistake, we wanted to avoid having what happened to the Cincinnati Bengals, where you get upset by a team that a lot of people thought going into this year was going to be one of the worst teams. We had an overtime win against a playoff team, and yes, one with some injuries, but it is what it is. New England Patriots up from 32 to 26. Cleveland Browns have dropped from 16 to 25. Jacksonville Jaguars dropped from 21 to 24. Atlanta Falcons from 17 fall all the way down to 23. The Arizona Cardinals staying steady at 22. Indianapolis Colts from 27 to 21. The Colts have risen. Let's see, Bengals went from number 9, a top 10 team. They lost to the New England Patriots, as you guys know, and they fell all the way to number 20. All right, New Orleans Saints go from 24 to 19. Chicago Bears from 18 to 18. Let's see, Chargers from 20 to 17, so they're up 3. The Minnesota Vikings, probably a lot of people caught off guard by them. Sam Darnold, you can say what you want about him, but this is his real first opportunity, in my opinion, like we talked about in some of the preseason videos. This is his first opportunity to play with some real strong offensive players. So far, he's taken advantage of it. Him and the Vikings have gone from 23 to 16. Seahawks from 19 to 15. Green Bay from 10 to 14. See, Los Angeles Rams stay steady at 13. Let's see, New York Jets. I'm keeping them at 12. Yes, it wasn't great for them, but I'm going to keep them at 12 as of right now. Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 15 to 11. Pittsburgh Steelers from 14 to 10. Houston Texans from 11 to 9. Miami Dolphins from 6 to 8. Buffalo Bills go from 8 to 7. Baltimore Ravens, from 2 to 6. Philadelphia Eagles climb to 5 from 7. Dallas Cowboys go from 5 to 4. San Francisco 49ers are at 3. Detroit Lions are at 2. And the Kansas City Chiefs stay at number 1. So those are your power rankings from Dano and the Do Crew right there. So, all right, now let's go ahead and get into our main topic of the day. We're going to be quick on this one before we get to the bottom of the hour. That's where we're going to have Anthony from Lions Roar UK. So let's get into the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the day, as you guys know, what do you guys think? Should we? Man, I have a little tongue-tied twisted. I haven't had enough Mountain Dew this morning. Should we believe that DJ Reader is going to play this weekend? Again, Chris Smith, you're not letting him go from the 53-man roster unless you're probably putting somebody else, another DTi, in that position. Reader nearly played, as we all know, Sunday. And for whatever reason, they kept him out. Figured they'd give him one more week. So with that all being said, I got a question for everybody in the Do Crew. Do you think DJ Reader is going to make a significant impact on the defensive line when he plays, assuming it is this week? He was dang close, as we said, to being activated last week. I understand why the coaching staff wants to give him another week to go. When you look at the Lions' defensive line, Aiden Hutchinson, when he did the Pro Football Focus's power rankings or ratings, grades, whatever you want to say, I mean, that's about as high a ranking or grade you can give a guy. Marcus Davenport, even though we didn't show him on there, he had a fairly good grade. And while there'll be some people say, hey, he didn't get 20 sacks, he didn't do this or that, I would say there's about 7 different times he got significant pressure on Matthew Stafford. Now, Stafford, we beat it up yesterday. We beat it up in the post-game show. On average, he was getting rid of the ball in about 2 seconds. So very difficult for a pass rush to get home significantly. Anytime Stafford had to go over 2.5 seconds to get to the ball gone, that's when Hutchinson, Levi Onwuzurike, and Marcus Davenport got significant pressure on him. Yes, Stafford nearly threw 4 more interceptions. We didn't hold on to him. It is what it is. Opening day, not everybody's playing their greatest. But my question to the Duke crew is, how large of an impact do you feel like he'll make? The run defense last week, let's be honest, it was pretty dang good for the Detroit Lions. Now, could Reader take the run defense to a whole new level, and can he generate interior pressure, DTi, to make sure the pocket is being collapsed from the middle, which allows someone like Hutchinson, Davenport, Ali McNeil to collapse and get around and get to the quarterback? That's where I think his real significance is going to be. And yes, it's going to help out the second level and third levels of the defense perform at a higher rate. All right, let's get over to you guys. Like I said, we've got about 15 or so minutes until Anthony hops on. So let's get to the Duke crew. I see we've got some comments shaking and baking over here. So let me scroll up to the top of the screen and get this going. All right, Michael Greens, salutations, coach and Duke crew. Exclamation points, Super Bowl or bust, one pride. Woo, woo. And good morning to you too. JDC, good morning all. Morning, JDC. Jason, Superdome or bust, 1,000%. Moonscar, good morning, Duke crew. Starting lineup. Does anyone know the significance of this game if we win on Sunday? Well, we'd be 2-0 and they'd be 1-1. And we'd be, more importantly, I think, we'd be 2-0 against the NFC. So while it's not the same impact as the NFC North wins, man, winning in your own conference is paramount versus the AFC. So let's go ahead and get this one. And you know what? Bucks scored some points last week. Are the Commanders' defense, is the team they played against, their defense is that bad, or is their offense that good? I guess all will be revealed Sunday. All right, Jason, crazy that we replayed 2 of our playoff games from last year in the last 2 games. Yeah, it's almost like the NFL had something set up there. I mean, it's the exact same format. We opened up with the Rams, played the Bucks. What are we going to do this year? We're going to open up with the Rams and play the Bucks. So, hey, it is what it is. Moonscar, I thought so too, Jason. NFL building the drama for its sports entertainment platform, 100%. I mean, make no mistakes. Pro sports are just that. They're pro sports. They are business, and we don't always have to like this or understand this or that, but they're out there to make money. I'm not going to do a deep dive on some pro leagues that don't make money, but the NFL obviously makes a ton of money, and they also want interest. They understand while it's getting old, and this was probably the last year, the Matt Stafford versus Jared Goff, LA Rams versus Detroit Lions, the whole trade thing is really relevant. They also wanted to start the year off saying, hey, we're going to feed off that and the fact that these 2 teams played last year in a very tight playoff game. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. All right, Jason, JDC, what does the all-seeing eye see this Sunday? Let's see what the eye says. All right, Hatman, good morning, Dan, the man, and the Duke crew family. Another beautiful, cool Michigan morning with my woo coffee. Well, hopefully it's hot and you enjoy it. JDC, I sees victory, Jason. Yes, and I'm not going to do a reveal of what I'm predicting for this game until later in the week, but I will say this. While the Bucs receivers are different, vastly different than the Rams, there are some things that might actually aid the Lions. But it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the Lions do. See, John King, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. We should be better this week. Reader will hopefully take a little pressure off Hutchinson, 100%. And I think the other part is, like you're alluding to, John, everybody's going to be a little bit more familiar. And that's both teams. Everybody's going to feel a little bit more comfortable with stuff. You have a little bit more conditioning, which you could tell guys on both teams last Sunday and across the league. They were pretty burned out and tired. The Rams, I was saying it on air during the live cast, I couldn't believe McVay wasn't calling more timeouts in that overtime drive because his team was getting mauled by the Lions. See what I did there? But yeah, there'll be a lot of things that'll be a little bit different. All right, see, Hatman, I got an eye on you, JDC. Fair enough. It's good to have fans. JDC, tick, 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 Tree of Destiny time, 100%. The countdown is on. Jason says November for the unveiling. Jason, timing is everything. Yes, it is. JDC says, yep, and a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe or hit the thumbs up button, the like button if you would be, por favor. See, Clark, good morning. You wide-eyed Super Bowl dreaming Duke crewers. There you go. And good morning to you, Mr. Griswold. Matthew Green, salutations. Good morning, everyone. Superdome, Super Bowl. Woo, woo, woo. Sheila likes a Woo! In the fresh morning dew. Yes, she does. You know what? Hey, ask and he shall receive. There you go. All right, Eddie, greetings and salutations, everyone. Having Reader on that line might just take us to another level. I liked what I saw at Davenport Sunday, and Hutch was on fire. Yeah, if he really does help eat up two blockers, let's say, or people on the offensive line, or just the blocking assignments, Davenport more than likely's got one-on-one. Aleem's got one-on-one. Could you still double team Hutchinson? You probably have to, because he did have a monster performance, as we know. I mean, he nearly stopped overtime from happening because he nearly strip-sacked Stafford. Stafford did everything he could to hold on to that ball. He had a moment where I thought that ball was coming out. Broski, JDC, whose eye is that? We'll see. It's the all-seeing eye. France, good day, Lions Talk Live, fam. Bucks' best safety is out Sunday. You are correct. Winfield Jr. is not going to play this Sunday. So is it a massive victory for the Lions? No, but it definitely is something that, hey, if we want to open up that passing game, Bucks are going to mostly play zone coverage against us. I'm going to imagine, at least the first month of the season, unless we just really start shredding it, that's what just about everybody's going to do. Why are they going to do that? They're going to double team just like the Rams did. We talked about it the preseason before we even got to the regular season. Everybody and their mother is going to put somebody underneath and then over the top of St. Brown. They're probably going to have a linebacker and a safety spy towards Laporta. And Jameson Williams, I mean, you want favorable matchups, that's pretty dang good for you. He's going to probably have a whole lot of those in the first month until we throw teams out of that coverage. All right, Jason, what do you got? Hatman's eye needing coffee. Very good, very good. Ed, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Did the Rams show other teams how to play the Lions, or is it early? Ed, sort of, everybody's going to come up with something. If you have success with it, it's part of coaching. Everybody's going to borrow from it, especially in something like football. They're going to mimic it. They're going to mirror it. The problem becomes, as that game went on, I thought the Lions started getting more and more comfortable moving the ball, using, yes, other people than St. Brown. So as the season goes on, I got to imagine that will happen more and more, whether it's Gibbs, Jameson Williams, whoever it's going to be. They're going to have more success against it. And then teams now have to make a choice. Keep getting shredded by this guy and this guy, or do we just keep our focus on St. Brown? The Lions got a lot of weapons, and I don't really think there's an easy answer for any defense, but we'll see what they do. And yes, it was early too. All right, JDC, Broski, I don't know. Let's see, Stephanie, good morning, boys, exclamation point. I look at Sunday's game this way. Lots of teams did not appear to be ready to play. I would agree with that, and not just in the NFL, but I would say watching a lot of the college games, you saw a ton of huge upsets. Why? Teams really aren't firing at all cylinders, and sometimes you get a little complacent, reading your own headlines or whatever. We didn't play our best and yet still won. So I'm going to go with that last thought there, Stephanie. Think about how much this franchise has changed. It used to be we would have to play our best and still find a way to lose early in the season against some, perceived superior team. Now we don't play our best and still win. And yet some people are still not going to be happy with that. All right, see, answer 14. Greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Lions will clean up a lot of things and be sharper versus the Bucks. I agree with that. Reader will add to this emerging defense. Lions 27, Bucks 13. Oh, yeah, in my best macho man voice. Well, there you go. I just gave you my best one. So I think you're right. I think the Lions will be much better. The Bucks will too, not to discredit them. They will. Both teams will be a little bit more gelled, and then it probably is going to come down to just which team is more talented. See, Jess, greetings, salutations, y'all. It stuns me how many experts and fans act like week one of the season is everyone's best. Teams are going to get much improved as the season goes on. How many New England teams lost to Detroit then? Oh, I see. Then won the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, you are correct. Remember this, and to play off your point. What's his name? Matt Patricia. I don't know if it was his first year or second year here. We had the New England Patriots. I want to say it was on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, and we beat them. And, everybody's like jumping up and down. Hey, the Lions have arrived. It's going to happen. We just beat the Super Bowl champs. And then, I think we only won like 2 more games the rest of the year, and then New England won the Super Bowl. So I get what you're saying. Okay, Duke. Good morning, Coach and the Duke Crew. Roar Detroit. One pride. 100% good to see you, my friend. JDC Magic 8 Ball says, Jared Crazy Legs Goff gets 11 yards rushing. Could be a career high for him. France, I agree. When you can win and still improve, that's a win-win. I'd say, yeah, you're spot on with that. Perryman, good morning. Duke Crew. Mayfield looked pretty good the other day, but their entire secondary is banged up. Yeah, they're a little banged up for sure. Like I said, Winfield's going to be out, so it's an advantage, sure, but is it going to be the thing that wins you or loses the game? Probably not. Moonscar, last week's win puts MCDC Brad Holmes' era overall record, including the playoffs, at 500. If we beat Tampa Bay, this regime's regular season record will also be 500 from where they started. That's huge. Yeah, from being whatever it was, 3 and whatever the first year. Yeah, that's you're eating up and making up a lot of ground there. Tori, good morning, Duke Crew. St. Brown isn't going to be head down all the time. Bucks will copy what the Rams did to him and Laporta. Yeah, most teams are going to copy that. I agree. Moonscar, Stephanie Water would love to hear your opinion on the Tyreek Hill incident. Ooh, man, I wonder if she would. I'd stay away from that though. In her profession, yeah, I would probably not comment on it. But let's see what she does. Trey, what are you good? What's good? All question mark. Yes, Tori Apple. The NFL is a copycat league. Everyone will run the same defense until we beat it. Yeah, I think we all agree on that. All right, Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan the Dude Crew. Can I get a woo? You know what, Gunny, just for you, my friend, we'll give you a ask and ye shall receive. Pearman, me too. I know that one officer is done at least. It could be. Yeah, it wasn't a good look. And hey, I've never been a police officer. I've never been a law enforcement. I get they have probably the most thankless job on planet Earth. And with that being said, they see a lot of stuff all the time. I wish we lived in a better society where maybe police weren't needed. Like I think I told you guys when I went to Ireland, I don't think I saw, or not Ireland, Iceland. We didn't ever see a police officer. It was just a vastly different world. But watching that video, yeah, there's probably some things that could have been adjusted differently. See, Papa Noel, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Hookadoo, Moonscar, what's up with the fuzzy bear picture? Hey, somebody's changing. Let's see, Man Bear, good morning. So how do you feel about the Bucks? Question mark. Are they expected to give Lions as much guff as the Rams did on Sunday? Well, let's start with this. And again, I don't want to give away everything for a video late in the week, but Stafford is a vastly different quarterback than Baker Mayfield. The majority of the Bucs receivers are not Cooper Kupp or quick out, slot type receivers. That's where I think the Bucs have a different setup potentially than what the Rams did. They're probably going to borrow some of the motion packages the Rams did, but how much can you really alter your offense in 3 practices? The other part is, again, Mike Evans, is he going to make a living getting, in and out of routes quickly? Probably not, especially at this point in his career. He's more of an intermediate to deep field specialist. Some of their other receivers could do that more, but I think the Bucs would have to change their offense, and Mayfield would have to be a little bit different as a quarterback. Give Stafford some real credit for what he pulled off. He did have to throw 50 passes to make all that happen, but they didn't use the running game. The Bucs will use their run game. So I think it's probably a more ideal setup. And the fact that it's week 2, the Lions defense, their secondary should be a little bit more in tune. It's not going to be massively different, mind you. It's not like it's going to be in week 10, but the Lions defense should be better. And to be fair, I don't think they were horrible Sunday. They just need to hold on some more of those turnovers. Quentin Greens and salutations, y'all. Man, this Detroit defense is going to be pretty good, I think, by the middle of the season. I agree. I think they will. And we went into the season, at least me giving you guys my thoughts as a coach, based on what they were drafting, how they were setting things up. I don't think they're trying to hold teams to like 200 yards or less. I think they're trying to get 5 turnovers or more per game. And that might be extreme. Maybe it's 3 turnovers or more. But if you think about it, the Lions, turnover-worthy plays. Take away the interceptions. We got 1. We should have had 5. Now, there were 2 opportunities where they nearly got strip sacks. So you add those all in, those turnovers would have massively changed everybody's opinion of the defense and the game. The game wouldn't have been close. But if you're going to play a gamble defense like that, where you're constantly going for the turnovers, you need to hold on to them when that opportunity arrives. Paperback Reader is back. Let's flip and go. It's not confirmed yet, but I would say all signs are pointing towards it. Perryman, watch that body cam footage. That guy was off the rails. 100%. I would agree with that. Broski Moonscar Blade with the new profile pic. What does it say? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Let's see. Voltron Force, greetings and salutations. Back at you. John, are you ready for this? I am. How about you? Bo, good morning. Duke Cruz, same to you. Dave, good morning all. Hatman, St. Brown will ball out this Sunday against the Bucks. I believe so. So looking for the team to step up and go to another level Sunday. 2-0, here we go. I like the way you're thinking. Coach Rock, good morning to all that just need to get the rust shook off the DJ now and get the D ready to be sped up. Yeah, 100%. I think every day that goes by, every week that goes by, we should see more of what this defense is going to be. I actually thought the linebackers played pretty well. I get why they took out, watching the replay, why they took out Campbell a little bit. I did think he was maybe not doing the best in pass coverage. He had some good plays, but he did get picked on a little bit, especially over the middle. All right, one or two more, and then we're going to bring on our special guest today, Robert. Greetings and salutations, Duke Crew, back at you. Sam Laporta, all J-Mo did was open up the playbook when Ben Johnson wanted to see if he could handle a load. Well, he proved he could, and now if you think St. Brown and Laporta will be this quiet for multiple games, you're insane. Yeah, J-Mo is going to make it hard for anybody to double team the same player over and over and over like the Rams did. JDC laughing out loud. I just noticed your new pick, Moonscar. All right, guys, it's about that time to bring our friend from the East, guy from the other side of the pond. So without further ado, let's bring in our special guest of the day, and that is Anthony. All right, he is the Brit with grit. Hey, let's welcome him onto the show and talk to him a little bit of Lions football. Anthony, how you doing this morning, my friend, or this day?
Hey, I'm doing very good, thank you, Dan. Hope you are well. Hope the Duke Crew are all well, and hope you are all enjoying BIM 1-0 on the season, because I know I am.
So let's talk about that opening day. We're talking about with our power rankings. Cincinnati Bengals lose, and probably not many people predicted that. Vegas probably loved it. There were other teams that didn't look sharp, looked like, hey, it's the first game of the season. None of these guys have played in the preseason. What are your overall thoughts about how the Lions performed on Sunday?
So the more I've thought about it, I'm actually really happy with not happy, but I'm really happy in the aftermath of what went on in that game. Like 3 years ago when Dan and Brad arrived, we were the worst team in the NFL. And 3 years later, we have just played at home. We've played, I reckon, about 40% of what we know this team can be. They're probably at the 40-50% mark. Like say, preseason, they looked a little rusty. Things weren't coming together. But we played at 40%, and we've beaten a playoff team at home. Like, regardless, we have come from behind, beaten a playoff team when we're not at our best. It's saying over here in soccer, champions win when they play bad. And I saw what a championship team could be out of them, that they had might be one of the worst days they have all year, and they won, and they beat legitimate opponents. So I know there's a lot to work on. I know there's a lot to flesh out, and there's a lot the team need to do. But the fact that they were able to grit that out, despite playing a fraction of what we know they can, shows to me that this team is Super Bowl ready.
I'll go with that. So let's talk about some of the younger guys on the team. You look at Terry Arnold. The Rams picked on him. They, anytime they got one-on-one with him and Cooper Kupp, I get it. They're going to go after him. What are your takes on him after one game?
I like him. I was quite impressed by him, especially in the run game. I thought he was really good. He's coming up. He was hitting hard. He wasn't missing his tackles. I thought he was good in that aspect. And then when it comes to the passing, they picked on him a lot, yeah. But he made some good plays, and he had some bad plays. And rookie corners do that. Like, rookies do that, but no more so than corner. It's an incredibly difficult position to master, which is why I've said, ever since we drafted him and this new look secondary, it's not going to be perfect right away. You saw a few lapses in communication. You saw a couple of blown assignments, and at the end of the day, you're coming up against a legitimate quarterback, one of the best in the NFC, and you're coming up against a pair of the best receivers in the NFC as well. It was always going to be difficult for him, but I thought he stood up really well, didn't give up much yak after the catch, and tackled cleanly. And I'm really excited to be him. Not everyone's going to hit the ground running like a Sauce Gardner or a Pat Surtain. And speaking of, like, Sauce Gardner's played 34 games in the NFL. Terry Arnold's already taken 1/12 of the targets that Sauce has had. Like, that's how little teams have targeted him, and everyone goes, "Oh, he's amazing." Well, no one's trying out with him. With Terry,
Right.
it's trial by fire, and I was really impressed with him overall.
So let's talk about now the Lions defense. Obviously, we're expecting this group to make a bit of a difference this year, gel, take it to another level. What did you think of Marcus Davenport in the defensive line overall this first game?
I thought they were incredibly good. Again, 83 yards rushing on the ground. That was it. And that's without DJ Reader in there. That's with us moving like the Chris Smith and putting guys like that in there. And Kyron Williams is a legit running back, and that is one of the best interior offensive lines in the league. If anyone's going to run it through the tackles at you, it's going to be them. And we stood up really well towards it. I mean, on the interior, Levi looked amazing. Like, the fact is, if we've got him, Aleem, and Reader being able to rotate out, stay fresh all game, that interior is going to be one of the best in the NFL, period. And I thought the edge rushers were really good. Davenport was good. He needs to finish better. He had a chance for a couple of sacks and he missed, he took some bad angles and stuff like that. But overall, they were struggling to deal with him. And Hutch was just brilliant, despite getting held, despite getting tripped, despite, getting taken to the school dance and waltzed with all over and not getting holding calls, who knows, but he still was ridiculously good. So I was quite impressed with them overall. Like I say, the run defense is as good as it's ever been. Pass game just needs a little bit of refinement finishing, but apart from that, I think we're going to be good.
Okay. Jameson Williams, a lot of talk this preseason that this guy was going to take things to another level, get one game in. What are your early thoughts on the Jameson Williams experience in 2024?
I said he was going to get over 1,500 yards scrimmage, and I fully believe that. And finally, because I'm maybe the only person who's been saying this, I think the team haven't treated him right when it comes to getting him involved in the games. He's your X factor. He's your weapon. He's your Tyreek Hill, and you need to get the ball in his hands as much as possible. And in this game, we pulled out the end-around play that we did in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers, which he scored on. We had him on screens. We had him on slants. We had him deep downfield. We kept putting the ball in Jameson Williams' hands, and lo and behold, what happens? The man's confidence comes up and he makes big plays, busts them wide open, which gives this offense is crazy good. Like, people are whining as Amon-Ra was not good, Laporta was not good. The run game, for the most part, was kept to about 4 yards per carry, and we still won. You stop the best wide receiver, you stop our best tight end, you limit our running game, but in doing that, Jameson Williams gets one-on-ones. You put him with old-ass Tre'Davious White on the side, who just cannot deal with him. It's broken him open. And now if you want to stop J-Mo, you've got to put the safeties on him. You take the safeties away from the middle of the field, it's going to open it up for Amon-Ra. It's going to open it up for Laporta. This is everything we wanted him to be, because finally the team are giving him the targets that he deserves. And we're seeing the player emerge. And hopefully they carry on doing that. Just keep putting the ball in your X-Factor player's hands, and he's going to be wonderful, and I loved what I saw from him.
So this week going into the Rams game, I thought Stafford, Kupp, Puka Nacua, even though obviously he didn't really play much of the game, were a bad opening day opponent for Detroit just because Stafford could get rid of the ball so quick. Kupp, when healthy, is one of the better receivers in the league. I thought it was a tough matchup. We got through it. When you analyze what's coming up with the Bucs, do you think it's a more or less favorable setup for the Lions defense?
I think we're going to be better. The Bucs were, for me, the best team in the NFL this past weekend. They looked like they put in the best performance this weekend against the Commanders team, who actually looked really good, but their offense was really good. So, we dealt with it. We beat them twice last year. Why did we beat them twice last year? Because we stopped Rachaad White running the football. When Rachaad White runs the football well, that offense is a completely different beast. But they dropped 360 on us in the air in the playoffs, still beaten by 8 points, because you can't run the ball, you can't control the clock, your defense gets tired, we wear them down. It was in the first game, J-Mo busted them wide open, I think it was. In the playoffs, Jahmyr Gibbs eventually was able to run over them because you wear them down. So while their offense is so imbalanced and our run defense looks as good as it is, I see the same formula as when we've played them the last 2 times. But I must say, I do incredibly admire that team. And I actually think the Rams and Bucks to start this season is the best for us because these are 2 teams who just play hard. Like the Bucks are us, basically, with a quarterback who was forgotten about and is playing out of his mind, a team that feels disrespected and not talked about enough. You know, we've managed to put the Rams aside, and we literally broke the Rams, right? Like, we've set our standard. If you want to come to Ford Field and you want to win a football game here, be prepared to leave more bruised than you've ever been in your life because we literally broke the Rams to pieces. So I think we match well against them. And unfortunately, I like to beat teams at full strength, but with all those injuries in the Bucs secondary, I think that's going to present issues trying to deal with all our offensive weapons that we've got. If you take the D-line out of the game, you know, it should favor us. So I'm looking forward to a really good game. I am. But I do see us winning again. I think we match up well against them as we saw last year.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think it's a more favorable matchup for us. Now, the Bucs have more, I think, overall weapons on offense. I just think Mayfield's a little different weapon. Plus, their receivers are not quite the same receivers as the Rams. It doesn't mean they're not as good or anything. It just means they're different. All right, so let's talk about the running game because in the overtime, there wasn't really a passing game for the Detroit Lions. You're MC DC. You go into overtime. What are you saying to your troops? And do you think it's a real telling sign that this offensive line just blew the Rams off the ground?
Yeah, I do. And I like the way they went about this. I said it in our preview the other week. What that Rams defense is young. And for the most part, it's young. Not too many vets in there. And what do young guys like to do? Young guys like to make splash plays. They like to make impact. You know, like you saw Verse at the end of the half, like meaningless play goes and he wants the sack. He wants to. What do they not like? They don't like getting hit in the face repeatedly again and again and again with the run game, you know, getting mauled by our offensive line all the time. We started the game off early running it a lot, and I liked it because it wore them down. And as the course of the game went on, you could see it starting to wear them down, especially towards the end. And then you get to overtime. Like their front four are what, 26, 25, 24, 23? Right. And you get there and you run it and you could see how tired they were. Our guys took over because we physically wore them down during the game. You know, that extra 10% Dan talks about with grit. Mm-hmm. We're going to get a little faster, a little stronger, a little harder. That's what you saw in the playoffs. We just had a bit more from them. And just running the ball, I love because they couldn't deal with it. Don't put it in the air and give them a chance to make a splash play or anything. Just keep running it down the throat because they'll lose their will to compete. And they did. So I love that. I absolutely loved what Dan did. I love the fact that he went for a field goal at the end of the game as well, instead of trying his usual aggressive thing to win it, because get to the overtime, deal with it then, start afresh, and let's say keep extending the game because it benefits us. But I love the fact that they just went and ran it down them. That's what we do. We wear you out and finish you off.
Yeah, I agree with you that especially in overtime, I mentioned earlier before you came on, Anthony, that I was surprised McVay didn't call a timeout earlier because no disrespect to his defense, but it just looked like they were completely gassed. I think it was the third run of that drive in overtime. I was like, these guys got nothing left. And then you allowed, I think it was 2 or 3 more plays before we put the game away. Were you surprised McVay, in the fourth quarter didn't try to bleed the clock more or try to help his defense out in overtime?
Yes, as well, because I think what really helped us as well is there was the targeting penalty as well. That got us 15 yards, which gave us good field position as well. Maybe a little bit surprised, but I guess he wasn't. I don't think he was expecting us to just get down on the ground all the time and keep going at it. And it gets to a point where it almost gets a bit too late. I don't know whether 30 seconds helps them or not, because we've sort of established ourselves at this point. And no matter what you do, if they have a break and they suddenly stack the box against the run, then we're probably going to throw the ball. So I think Dan just sort of, when you get that momentum, it's very hard to wrestle it back, even with a timeout. So I thought McVay was tremendous, though, overall. Like his coaching to level the playing field with that offensive line and to do what he did. And the defense, I thought, really, again, young. But if you scheme right, if you coach right, you'll level it up. I thought he was really good throughout that, but I think Dan just got the little bit of the better of him at the end. Like, he's got the better team, and we showed that just.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought their game plan coming in to protect the offensive line. I get everybody, man, they've got, whatever, 3 or 4 guys out. Why don't we have 50 sacks? But give the coaches some credit for putting a scheme that works for your team. And the fact that they were getting rid of everything on hot routes so quickly, I thought really was a great move by McVay. Plus, putting everybody in motion all the time so you couldn't jam Cooper Kupp at the line and try to slow him down. Last thing before we get out of here, if you're expecting any big changes from MCDC or the Detroit Lions leading into this week, what would they be as they prep for Tampa Bay?
I think it's going to be. I just think it's going to be execution, because I think we started off pretty well. We mixed up the plays well, but I think we had the problem where we couldn't get the run going. I think Ben Johnson needs to mix it up a little bit. There's too many times he's running first down just between the tackles. I think that just needs to change, because, again, come to the third quarter stuff, but it kind of felt like they figured us out a bit. They were sort of stacking the box, stopping the run. We were getting into long situations, and then they were sitting in coverage. They weren't coming up close. They were sitting, waiting for the short pass, and then just hounding us, keep getting 3 and out. So I think just schematically that needs to change a little bit. And, on the defense, again, it's very difficult to deal with motion without giving away what you're doing, but they've kind of got to find a way to deal with that. I mean, the Bucs don't do it as much, so maybe it'll not be as bad a thing here. I think we can be a bit more traditional in what we do, but I think it's just execution of plays. We looked rusty, right? We look like a team who pretty much all the starters have not played. The secondary is gelling. Like, they've got a lot of game film to just refine the execution. That's what Dan's all about. It's just refining the execution of the plays. The plays are good enough. The players are good enough. It's just about how you go about doing it. So just those little fine-tuning things. I don't expect any big personnel changes. I don't expect any, big schematic changes. Just the way they execute it all.
Okay. Well, Anthony, I want to thank you for coming on the show once again. Thank you for all your wisdom, your knowledge, and your grace. So why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out? Tell everybody who's watching, even though they probably already know who you are. Tell them how to find you, where to watch your information, your material, etc.
I appreciate it, Dan. I appreciate you having me on the show as always. It's I do enjoy doing this. So you can find me at Roar of the Lions UK. We're a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond. We were up, all of us, till 5 a.m. watching the game the other day. So if anything, we are dedicated to what we do. But if you want to come and check out Lions News and Views from the point of view of a few Brits who think they know what they're talking about, then check us out, Roar of the Lions UK.
All right. Well, thank you. He is the Brit with Grit. He is Anthony, Lions Roar UK, and we'll check you out on the next Lions Talk Live, my friend.
Have a great day to you, crew, and Dan. Thank you very much. Take care.
We'll see you now. All right, get back to your comments section. Grit Steel, Ant-Man, yes, it was. Phil, the Brit with Grit, yes. I don't know who came up with that one, but that's a classic right there. John, Thunder and Lightning, serious thunderstorms coming. I concur with your assessment. See, Miles Margaret, please like, share, and copy. Thank you for that. Yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Also hitting that thumbs up, that like button. Moonscar Broski, my sentiments exactly on Hill. Just comply and move on with your day. And Broski, much respect. Yep, we'll leave that for sure. 100%. Miles Marker, please like, share, copy. Lions Roar UK. Also, yes, good call there, Miles Marker. Good call. Big D. Super brothers and sisters from UK, mad love and respect, 100%. Anthony does a real good job with stuff. Him, Kurt Steele. I mean, there's a lot of people in the Lions Nation Unite family that put in a lot of effort to produce content and analyze things for the fans. So hopefully you guys all appreciate their efforts. Who could do? I was 12 on the like button. Miles Market, very good. Hey, nice to mark that down. JDC, John Leonard, Pat Travelers, Rocks, 100%. Let's see, Anthony, hey all, hey you, how you doing? Let's see, Moonscar, Broski, Moonscar Blade, all the crybaby stuff when cops need to worry about their safety as well. Yeah, the one thing I would say is, putting the window back up, that probably was not ideal because the police, I don't know if it was a see-through window or if it was shaded, they can't see if you're grabbing something to go after them or anything, but, I'll let other people handle that. Kurt Steele, Boss Up Ball Up has a special guest today as well. That's awesome, man. That is good. See, Miles Market, excellent. Hookadoo, you always got it together 100%. John, JDC, yes, he does. Kurt Steele, Duke Crew rocks. So do you, my friend. So do you. JDC, yes, we do. Yeah, you gotta love the Duke Crew. Miles Market, please like, share, and copy. Boss Up Bottle Up for Kurt Steele. Yes, yeah, please, yeah, help him out as well. Kurt, Hookadoo, Kurt, you got your chat all squared away today? I believe he probably has, at least hope so. Getting real in the D, says JDC. Moonscar Blade is sending some fireworks with a fist bump. See, Trump still holding Hutch, nothing changed. Yeah, and we talked about it during the live cast. I knew going in, once I found out both tackles were out for the Rams, the NFL, the officials were going to be instructed to allow them to get away with more because they didn't want to see Stafford get slammed all game. It also doesn't benefit them from a commercial marketability standpoint to have a blowout game in prime time. But also notice when the game got close, the holding calls all of a sudden started coming back. So you allowed them to get away with it for basically 3 quarters. And then when the Rams, got back and made a game of it, now all of a sudden the flags came out. That's also probably instructed by the NFL. Kurt Steele, live show today. Good to hear. Well, I can't wait to watch it. JDC, Kurt Steele, I have my Boss Up Ball Out transporter button at the ready. There you go. Let's see, John, what is Reader's actual size? I don't know. I'm guessing probably somewhere around 360. That's a guess, though. Don't hold me to it, John. Hookadoo, he doesn't wear a 3X. He wears a 10 size. He's a big dude, no doubt. Him and Broderick Martin next to each other when that day emerges, that's going to be probably like close to 900 pounds, 800 pounds of mass right there in the middle. Let's see, John, come on, Detroit, get her done. There you go. Let's see, Derwin, yo, how you doing? Good to see you, Derwin, as always. See, Michael, DJ Reader is 6'3" and 327 pounds. Man, I'd like to know who's weighing those scales because I'm going to guess he might be more than that, but you never know, man. Maybe not. JDC, John Lennon Reader is bigger than a hedge, bigger than a small wall, but smaller than a big wall. Fair enough. That's a good assessment. Kurt Steele, Lions are currently a touchdown favorite versus Tampa. Yeah, I saw it was something like 6-7 points, something like that. So thank you for that, Kurt. Let's see, Miles Margie. Yep. See you Thursday, Ant. All right. Let's see, Jason. Grit takes rust off. Baker threw 2 INTs, interceptions last week and with 4 sacks. I expect more Sunday. Let's hope so. DM5, any news on Houston, why he didn't play? No, I have not heard anything, but trust me, if I hear it, I'll get it over to you guys. See, Dimitri, what do you got? Dan, did McNeil play well to you, or was it like he was non-existent? I didn't see much out of him, and even when I watched it on tape, I didn't see much gap shooting or penetration. Now, I will also say, in fairness to him, the Rams seem to have paid most attention to Hutchinson and then, yes, McNeil. After that, everybody, for the most part, had one-on-one blocking assignments. The Rams were doing everything they could. They knew their situation. That's why you had so much motion. That's also why you got the ball out so fast. But again, anytime the Rams were forced into deeper routes, that's where I thought you could really see our line show up. So Lee McNeil, I'm not going to say he had his best day ever, but he also got a lot of attention. Let's see, Miles Margaret, Coach Dan, you never say their channel name, quite say their name, Roar of the Lions UK. My bad. Yeah, that is my bad. So I will have to work on that, Miles Parker. Thank you. Roar of the Lions UK. My bad. Moonscar, Kurt Steele, you got that live chat problem fixed? Hopefully. Courtney won the spread versus Rams. Congrats on that. John, yeah. Why didn't he play? That I don't know, guys. I'd like to know myself. Moonscar, 7-point favorite. I might take Tampa Bay and the points. Rooting against your own team, my friend. Dimitri, let's all hit that thumbs up button. Yes, if you would, pretty please. And yeah, I got to make sure I don't say Anthony's channel's name incorrectly again. That's bad for me. That's not cool. See, JDC Moonscar Blade, I think I was the last poster on the Boss Up Ball Out chat yesterday. I thought I broke the chat. Maybe you did, man. Maybe you hit something wrong. Kurt Steele, live show today. So yes, yesterday was a recorded show. Fair enough. Courtney, DJ Reader is my size. Laughing out loud. All right, fair enough. Dimitri, can I get a woo? You know what? You want one? I'll throw you one. I'll throw you a woo. Let me scroll on down here and give you a, let's see, let's pick one. Let's go. Just go with a. How's that for you? Yeah, how's that for you for a woo? All right, getting back to the comment section. JDC, woo, Hatman, woo. Trump, No Jake Bates love. Should, man. He played pretty well, and I still don't know if that knuckleball kickoff was intentional or unintentional, and probably never will know, to be fair. But I thought, that Jake Bates, you could have asked for much more. MCDC did have some comments about him. They did say that, hey, he gets the guy is a work in progress, that he's not, fully developed yet. But you know what? There's enough good there that they're going to keep working with him and, get him to where they ultimately think he can be. All right, JDC, happy trails. Go Lions victory. Back to you. Hopefully having a great one. Dimitri, Lions is walking that way to the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah. We'll give you a big oh, yeah, too. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and get out of here. All right, hold on. A couple more. JDC, Jake Bates. Woo! Moonscar. All right, y'all. Until tomorrow's dawn. Woo! We'll see you tomorrow then. Hookadoo, True, Bates did awesome. Grit, yeah, no complaints from him. And that's what you want out of a kicker. Just, you don't even notice them. They just go out there and do the job. All right, if there is some sort of breaking news today, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. If you would be so kind, consider hitting the subscribe button, sharing the channel with others. Like I said, we're doing a fundraiser this week until the end of the Bucs game. Every new subscriber we get, we add a dollar to the pot. And if you would, as you're checking out, hit the thumbs up button, the like button. Helps everything out a lot. Otherwise, take care. Enjoy your day. Be good to others. Be kind to people you don't know. And we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, guys.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.